Greetings, I am the Dungeon Tutor. Welcome! Today I'm answering question, this being the third day of August 4, the third question in RPGaDay. And today the question is, what's the first RPG you bought this year? Actually, that takes a little bit of trip down memory lane to remember because, well, I buy too many RPGs. But in this case, I can definitively say which one I bought because it was after Christmas that I really saw a path for finding this particular game, which was out of print. And I was kind of despairing finding it at a reasonable price because, well, that's what happens. When something goes out of print, the price goes through the roof. And in this particular case, I fortunately have my fears alleviated because another company has stepped in to print this particular game, which makes me very, very happy. And now I have a chance to get all of it at the more reasonable retail price, even if that isn't all that reasonable these days. But the game that I got first out of any other one was Star Wars Force and Destiny from Fantasy Flight Games. Now, Fantasy Flight Games for Star Wars are being reprinted by a company called Edge, which is great. Edge has got the rights to print just about all of the old material for Fantasy Flight, which is awesome. The only thing that I don't see them coming out with yet are dice, which also means the starter sets aren't coming out, which I hope they eventually get because the starter sets looked cool and the dice were, well, something you kind of need to play this game. Now, you might ask yourself, Rob, out of all the games that you got, why you have several Star Wars games? If you've been watching my videos, you kind of know that I like Star Wars in general, and I like the role-playing of it, more so even than I like the movies. But you have a lot of Star Wars stuff already, and I do. I have plenty of the Star Wars D6 from West End Games. I also have a decent amount of the D20 Star Wars that Wizards of the Coast put out. One of the weakest of them all, if I do say so, but, you know, that is the case. I don't have the Saga system, unfortunately, but that got really, really expensive when that went out of print. And now I have the books for the crack the Fantasy Flight took at it, which from all account is really, really good. And I've been reading the books a bit here and there, and I haven't found anything offensive. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's going to be a fun game. But prices on these books had been skyrocketing. Absolutely. I found the core books, and this is a game that had 3 core books: Force and Destiny, Age of Rebellion, Edge of the Empire. Each one of them one part of the experience of Star Wars. Force and Destiny, that's when you want to play Jedi of all stripes and at different parts in history. You want to go Old Republic? Probably one of the books you'll want. You want to play Jedi after the Rebellion and the New Republic? It doesn't seem like there's Jedi all over the place in the new movies, but as we know, there was an honest attempt to start up more Jedi. If you like the old system, before Disney bought everything, there was a genuine attempt by the Skywalkers to make the Jedi happen again. They took on tutors and that, like, what was his name? Kyle Katarn, who were gifted in the Force, and eventually Skywalker taught them some things and started a school and teaching and stuff. That's, well, what's left is now episodes 7, 8, 9. But that's, you know, what you take out of that what you will. But there's been plenty of time where the Jedi existed in Star Wars, even if they're underground. In Star Wars Rebels, you have 2. Plus Ahsoka comes back, Darth Maul comes back, because, yeah. But you have the kid and his mentor. I can't remember their names at the moment. It's been a while since I've seen it. The kid kind of had this kind of cool blaster lightsaber combination, which would have been absolutely anathema to more orthodox Jedi, but it actually worked really well, and as a combo weapon, it seemed pretty cool to me. And, you know, there were some interesting arcs in there. They definitely did something with the Jedi, but they didn't let it dominate the storyline, as Jedi always seem to be in danger of just dominating anything. This would let you play through the Clone Wars just fine. Very exciting time for the Jedi, certainly, even if you drift farther and farther away from what the Jedi wanted to be. People who led by philosophical example and were peacekeepers as opposed to generals on battlefields, but an exciting time nonetheless. So you have this. But for a lot of people, that's not the Star Wars universe they care about. The Jedi always try to be outside of the society and be teachers and advisors. But the rest of the galaxy is fascinating. Edge of the Empire covers smuggling and crime and the frontier and exploration, not the conflict at the heart of it with the Empire and the Rebellion, or the New Republic and the all the different, the warlords, what was the new group called? I can't even remember. But all of that stuff was still conflict that you could sidestep with the Edge of the Empire, because during all this time, every empire that rises and falls, there's still going to be people who don't want to buy into that and just want to try to live their lives with a certain amount of freedom away from all the nonsense that civilization wants to throw at them. And a lot of that's done on the sly, through maybe not so legal means, but still exciting, viable stuff with great role-playing potential. And then you have Age of Rebellion, which is going to give you all those people that are on the front line and command in terms of an unequal battle, certainly, the galactic monolithic empire versus the picket line of irregulars that comprises the rebellion, and the rebellion finds ways to win thanks to, again, the successes of individuals who themselves are highly motivated to defeat tyranny for whatever reasons, and they come together and they eventually knock off the empire. Pretty exciting stuff. Of course, you're going to have the heroes of the story, but isn't that kind of what a role-playing game is? Instead of having Skywalker and Solo tramping through everything because they are huge plot beasts, your heroes get to take the lead and be the cool folks in their story. Hopefully your game master doesn't bring in Solo and Skywalker to just completely dominate the situation. Those are the worst GM NPCs when you take people out of the actual movies. And I've seen that happen before. But you know, that's part of the beauty of playing these kind of games. You don't have to have it traipsing along through the movie's storyline. And that's why I love Star Wars role-playing games. You get to be just as cool, maybe not as powerful most of the time, but just as cool in your own storyline as they got to be in the movies. So this was one I was happy to pick up. At the same time I picked this up, I also picked up Age of Rebellion. And with these two books in hand, I really found out how badly I was missing Edge of the Empire. Because it's the Edge of the Empire that was really going to be the framework for most of my stories. Yes, there's still going to be the battle against the Empire. Yes, a lot of it is going to be on worlds out in the Outer Rim, where the Rebellion can actually stockpile stuff with less fear of the Empire crashing in on them. And they can make some serious changes without having to worry about, Star Destroyers in orbit in like a matter of days. No, you can do some cool things and have some actual lasting impact and do just enough to the Empire to annoy them without having to worry about half the Imperial fleet showing up. Pretty cool stuff. One thing that's impressed me with this book and these games that I've been reading about is all of the narrative elements in the system. The dice are weird and cool at the same time. They mean mostly potential of what can go wrong or what can go right, and budgeting out how much those get to have a play in what you do is key. Being able to get rid of dice that are disadvantageous to you is the key to pulling off excellent successes that aren't compromised. And that's how you can tell somebody is really a master. Most people can do things and give themselves some bonus dice so they might have a lot of successes. But if you're not that good at it, you're probably going to have some extra difficulty dice that are going to throw in some flaws into whatever you pull off, if anything, and make your failures more disastrous. So I really do enjoy that about this system, and I am looking forward to running it at some point in the not-too-distant future. Not all of my games, I can say that. There are plenty of games that I've picked up that I'm like, oh, this will make an interesting video, but when I read it, I'm like, well, this will only make a video because I don't know if I'll ever run this game. And there's been a few like that. Mechanical Dream certainly was one that I saw that looked like it had potential. I just don't know if I'll ever run that. The Silhouette Core System by DreamPod 9 looks okay. Looks like fairly decent sci-fi, but I think if I do sci-fi, I'd probably use Traveler first. You know, all kinds of things like that. But you kind of got to poke around in the corners if you're going to see some exotic things that otherwise would have escaped your notice. If I hadn't been willing to sponge up things, I might never have seen Millennium's End. I might not have seen Immortal. And those are games that deserve, at the very least, to be looked at and cataloged for somebody who wants to be a gaming historian, who wants to understand how games have evolved, what neat ideas have come out, and what ideas just never would have worked, and pretty much doomed a project. So, that is what I bought at the beginning of the year, and there have been other purchases since then. Hopefully we'll all get a video at some point so that I can show you what I've gotten, why I've gotten them, and you know, just, again, generally record and keep these things for posterity's sake. So, that is my answer to this question. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope that you feel free to like and subscribe to my videos with a little notification, because I'm going to keep doing these. Every day this month, I'm going to do another question. So, buckle up. It could be a fun one. If you find somebody else who likes the idea of making content like this with a provided guide of the questions, feel free to Google RPGaDay. You can also find it at the Autocratic blog. Autocratic was the one who started RPGaDay. And they still mirror the list on there, so you can find that easily enough. Or just put in RPGaDay on Facebook and you'll find it as well. So, thank you very much. I am the Dungeon Tutor, and I hope that you, yes you, come back for more. And if you do, in the intervening time, I hope that you have a chance yourself to roll some dice, play some games, have some fun, and stay safe out there, my friends. Until next time, farewell.